So, also at GDC, we have a new Resident Evil 7 trailer. Matt, did you watch the trailer?
I
The,
did
the
watch the
lantern
trailer.
lantern gameplay trailer.
hmm
So, it, now it's more of the same, more of what we've seen in the same style and everything. First person perspective gameplay, which the whole game is going to be all first person. Um, and it's more, although this one, instead of just kind of wandering around and picking up items, you have a character that you're trying to keep away from, and you also play a female instead of a male, as we've seen in the demo. Um, and so let's go through this trailer. So you have this, like I said, female character who is trying to hide from this old lady stalker with a lantern who's looking for her. And at first it's not all that creepy.
Yeah, nothing
At
creepy
first.
about being chased by some blindfolded old woman with a lantern.
I know it's one of those things in horror films where, like, oh, let's get this old woman and, like, make her really scary by, like, giving her, like, white pupils or something like that. I don't really get scared of old, decrepit looking women in horror movies. Maybe that's just me. It's just not something that really, like, gets me all, like, oh, terrified, because it's a feeble old woman that doesn't really seem to pose much of a threat to me. That's just me. I know a lot of people get freaked out by that stuff. I don't. But the fact that you are someone who has no weapons and all you can really do is hide, and it reminds me of the Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. I know I've referenced that character before, but any character that in gameplay is invincible and you can't really do much to kill him. It's like the Scissor Man in Clock Tower. Same concept. You can't do anything to kill the character. You can only really maybe slow them down, or in this case, it looks like only thing you can do is hide and run when they're not looking. So and by the way, is it just me, or do the visuals look a little bit better now in this new setting, other than the house that we've seen in the old trailer and the demo?
Um, I don't know. When I saw it, I didn't really see like a difference in setup. I think it looks like aesthetic wise, it looks amazing. I think both through the demo and this trailer, it's possible that there's a difference.
Yeah, to me, it just looked like the character models looked a lot better. That was the only thing that kind of didn't look so great in the demo, was the couple of guys, whenever they would, like, you'd see them talk, their mouth movements seemed to be very stiff, like this, just a little bit. And at one point, at the end of the trailer, the old woman finds this character, and it's a big close-up, very PT, by the way, very PT in style, which is a good thing. And, like, this woman's, like, mouth is, like, in your face, saying, like, I forget what she says, something like, "Where do you think you're going?" or something like that. And then you hear your character scream, and the end of the trailer. So, Matt, I'm looking for some opinions here. What do you think? Is this a good one?
The whole trailer had me on edge. Like as soon as it started,
It does a
I
very good job of that.
I I did not feel comfortable at all watching that video. As soon as it played, it started. I think she was. I can't remember if she started in a building or something, but she was like running, and then she turns around, and then the woman was like right behind her, and then she goes across a bridge and she goes into a house, and then she like hides or something. Like
It jumps around a lot though. You're not in the same
Yeah,
room, and it does cut from like one scene to another a lot.
yeah. So I think the way you described it, kind of being like Nemesis, is like a really good idea, or a really good way of comparing the two, just because it looks like this person just kind of like pops up, maybe, or maybe it's just like one area of the game. This person is like tailing you, and like you just have to hide whenever it happens.
I think what we're going to get with this game is like the Resident Evil Revelations 2, where you have, oh, and of course Resident Evil 6, where you have the three different campaigns in Resident Evil 6, and they're structured very differently. You have two characters per campaign, and each one kind of has a different style of gameplay. Like Leon, his campaign is plays a lot like Resident Evil 4, where you don't, you're not just shooting zombies all over the place. Like you have more limited resources. Whereas with Chris Redfield, you have like it plays more like Resident Evil 5 with like tons of ammunition, and you have to really fight a lot through your fight your way through. And I have a feeling like, well, with this, we're getting a first person experience all around. You're going to have different gameplay elements. Like one of those elements might be a lot of, one character may focus more on exploration. This character may be more like you're just trying to survive. You're just trying to keep away from one enemy instead of dealing with several. So I do think we're going to get several possible gameplay styles to go with this game. You're looking a little uneasy.
I'm so conflicted with this game because it does such a good job that it makes me not want to play it. But that's not because it's a bad game at all. It's just everything about this game just terrifies me.
When I first played Resident Evil 4, first of all, no interest in Resident Evil at all until 4. Then one of my friends who I trusted his opinion, he was just like, "Oh my goodness, like I was in the village and I got ambushed, and these guys are like I'm barricaded in a house, and these guys are just breaking in, and they're smart, like they're going in for the windows, and you're just like, trying your best to stay alive." And he just one of my friends just sold me on the game, and then I watched him play it. I was like, "Whoa, yeah, this is actually really, really fun to not only watch, but it seems like it's a blast to play as well." So that's what got me into Resident Evil 4. And my first playthrough, it was very tense. Like I couldn't play the game really. I think I would hit my limit about an hour and a half in. I would just either have to watch some TV or play something else instead. Like I just, because I didn't know what was around the next corner. The game just would take me by surprise, and that game does a really good job of changing things up and throwing different enemies at you that behave different ways. And I'm really hoping that Resident Evil 7 does something similar. But I agree with you. This being almost a little bit too tense to play, like just a little bit beyond your comfort zone and what you're looking for. I think it's a good game. Resident Evil 4, it's one of those games where it's like every couple of years I have to go back and play again because it's so good. And that tense level still kind of stays up, even though I've played through the game, multiple times at this point. It still kind of gets me a little bit, especially when I know when, like, sometimes with that game, I think, I don't know which is worse, the first time I played it through or the second time I played it through. Because the second time, what's coming. When there's going to be like a really difficult nail-biting experience or sequence up ahead. So, yeah, I hope they do the same thing with 7. I really do.
Chances are I might get this game, but I'll probably have to play it with all three of my roommates down in the living room with me.
You have to be in the room.
Where are you going? No, I'm playing Resident Evil 7. You're staying here for 3 hours.